When it comes to deboning chicken, I can understand a lot of people will be intimidated by it, but it really isn't that difficult at all. It's also a great way to save money, as a whole chicken could cost you about $4, whereas a couple of breasts or thighs alone could cost you upwards of $10. In this fourth episode of Back to Basics, I'm going to run you through the way that I debone a chicken, hopefully teach you a thing or two, and hopefully make you less intimidated by it. Also, before we get started, if you could smash that like button, because it really does help my channel out, and consider subscribing. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright guys, starting this off, we're obviously going to need a whole chicken, and on this we're going to have 2 breasts, 2 drumsticks or legs that lead into thighs underneath, and 2 wings that can be separated into wingettes and drumettes. The first thing that we're going to do is separate the drumsticks and thighs, and a very easy way to do this is in between the breast and drumstick is a lot of loose skin, and if you look closely you'll notice a strip of fat in between the two, and this is where we're going to use a sharp knife to cut along, but only enough to get through the skin and fat. We don't want to cut the whole way down. Once that's slightly separated, grab the leg and push from the bottom up, which will pop out the thigh bone, making it very visible on the top there. We can now flip the chicken around, and whilst gripping the leg, we're going to slice through the loose skin into the back of the chicken, and here you'll find the oyster, which is a very tasty piece of meat. Then let's cut around this, which leaves us with slicing in between the joint that's been popped out towards the back of the chicken to reveal our first piece, which is the drumstick and thigh, otherwise known as the leg or Maryland. Now back to the chicken, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side to remove the other leg, but this time I'll be quiet so you can have a closer look at the process. Alright, so hello again guys. Now once both the legs have been removed, we're now going to remove the wings. To do this, grip the wing nice and tight, and on the back of the chicken there's almost like a template for us to cut around, which you'll notice if you pull the wing upwards. Once you've located it, slice around and underneath the wing, which will go straight through the center of the joint bone, leaving us with the wing being separated, and I'll show you how to cut this up later on. Then back to the chicken again, let's slice off the other wing, doing the exact same process, going straight through the joint bone to separate, which you can see here, and once we're through it, we can continue slicing through to remove the other wing. Now the last process is removing the breasts, so we'll flip the chicken back over, and down the center of the carcass is a straight bone called the kill bone, which holds and separates the breasts from one another. We can then grip the chicken nice and firmly to keep it in place, feel for the kill bone down the center, then slice as close as you can to either the left or the right of the bone, depending on which hand you're most comfortable with, which will then reveal the breast meat and the bone. Continue slicing through, and once you get about halfway you'll get to the rib cage, and at this point we will have to start angling our knife to follow the layout of the carcass, trying to keep as close to it as possible to prevent any meat being left behind. If you need to at any stage, you can rotate the chicken to give yourself a better angle, and once you've cut the breast off the kill bone and ribs, we can then gently slide our knife under the breast to remove it from the carcass. This then leaves us with a beautiful chicken breast, and if we flip it over on the underside here we have a tenderloin, which can easily be removed by simply pulling it off, and these right here are fantastic for so many different things. So back to the chicken one last time to take off the other breast using the same method. So let's grip it nice and tightly and slice through as close as you can to the kill bone until you get to the ribs below. Then once there, angle your knife following the carcass structure, keeping as close to it as possible to get as much meat off as you can. Once that's done, flip the chicken over to a more controlled position and slice underneath the breast to remove it from the carcass, leaving us with another beautiful breast, again pulling off the tenderloin, which is actually optional, you don't have to do it. This now leaves us with the carcass, and these are essential to any good chicken stock, so definitely don't throw this out, and best of all, these can easily be frozen for up to 6 months. Now for a little bit of extra information, I thought I'd show you how to separate the drumsticks from the thighs if you wish to do so. So if you look closely between the drum and the thigh, there's actually a line of fat or another template of where you should cut, and it is as simple as slicing through that line, which will go straight through the joint, separating the two, leaving us with our drums or drumsticks, as well as our delicious thighs, which in my opinion is the best part of a chicken. With the wings, you can leave these whole if you wish to do so, but I reckon they're a lot better separated into wingettes and drumettes. This is a very simple step too, and all we have to do here is feel for the joint that connects the two. It will feel like a ball, and simply slice through it, leaving us with our drumette. Now with the wingette, we also have the wingtip attached, which really doesn't have that much meat on it, and they're fantastic for stocks. If you wish to remove it, which is optional, it's just as simple as before, finding the joint and slicing through the center of it, which then gives us our wingette on your right, as well as our wingtip for stock on your left. Now for the final result, we then have 2 beautiful breasts, 2 delicious tenderloins, 2 plumptuous drumsticks, 2 amazing thighs, 2 wingettes and 2 drumettes, and finally 1 fantastic carcass, leaving us with all of this delicious meat from 1 chicken, and once it's cooked, we can then dig in. So there we have it. Deboning a chicken is super easy and a great way to save money. It's also a fantastic way to get more comfortable with a knife too. And like anything in life, the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it, so don't worry if your chicken's not amazing the first time, it just takes a bit of persistence, trial and error. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, it really does help me out, and consider subscribing along with hitting that bell notification next to it so you never miss one I upload. Also, leave a comment down below of what episode of this Back to Basics series you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.